Welcome everybody. Welcome Maxime. Welcome the audience, listener in our new community stream session. How is it going, Maxime?
Yeah, amazing. GM, everyone. Very happy to be here and excited to talk about prediction markets today. So yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that's an amazing topic. It's not only a trend; it's something really huge. I think every day on X and every socials we can see some stuff about Polymarket, Kalshi, and other platforms. So yeah, really, and I'm not really familiar. Honestly, I tried to trade a bit on Polymarket, build an arbitrage bot, stuff like that, but I'm not really familiar. So I'm really happy to have you here today because I think we have a lot of stuff to learn about prediction market,
Indeed.
and we're gonna wait a few minutes, 1-2 minutes. And while we are waiting for everybody, is there anything in the Web3 ecosystem space that surprised you, scared you? Because I opened your France Crypto X account, and the first news I saw, it's, oh my God, one crypto attack every day in France. No, every 5 days.
Every 5 days, yeah,
Oh
exactly.
God, that's totally scary.
Yeah, it's so this is a data that we took from January 1st of this year. So it's only the data from 1st January to right now, which is like a lot. But if you look like more in general, France is like the second country where you have the most kidnapping and aggression relative to crypto, just after the US,
Oh my God.
which is crazy.
Yes, that's definitely crazy. And do you have any more positive news and things you spotted in Web3 ecosystem?
Yeah, so I would say that, well, unfortunately, we have like a lot of, I wouldn't say bad news, but a lot of, I would say, geopolitical news that are kind of difficult to understand whether it's positive or negative. I mean, referring to what's going on between Iran and the US, especially like Trump, what's going on this side. One time, the Strait of Hormuz is open, then the day after, or it's closing, then will be will have. I mean, Trump is saying that he will have some discussion with Iran, and then the day after, Iran is saying no, we'll not have any discussion, and then the day after, Trump is like, well, we will still extend the ceasefire. I mean, so it's a nonsense.
Honestly, it's a
Uh,
movie. It's a movie. It's a Netflix
yeah,
movie, like every
yeah,
day,
yeah.
every Trump post. But fortunately, we are not here to talk about politics. We are
Yeah.
here to talk about prediction market. But first, we want to know a bit more about you, Maxime. So can you introduce yourself and your journey into crypto? Because I'm sure you passed through different steps before crypto, before France crypto.
Yeah, exactly. So right now I'm leading operation at France Crypto, which is a French media. But before that, I started 4 years ago at Swissborg, which is a crypto wealth management app based in Switzerland. I started to work there. Then 8 months after, I started my own company, more on the social fi consumer, side of crypto. And for the past mainly 2-3 years, I was building in this space, build a bunch of products, from tokenizing advertising spaces on media back in the days, to creating, enabling people to invest in influencers and remove all marketing agencies to do business with influencers without the need to trust them. So we did a bunch of things, but SocialFi was kind of invalidated by the market, so we stopped that, and that's when we decided to go full on the media side, because what we think has value today is what we're doing right now, meaning having a community and being able to discuss with the people, to distribute what you think. And this is the kind of thing that will probably have the most value in the coming years, especially that if you look at AI right now, you can do so much. You can create product, I would near instant, like, I mean, it's going so fast that what matters the most, and what I think will matter the most, is distribution. And that's why we have France Crypto, and well, hopefully, if we can also make an impact, such as what's going on here with the kidnapping and how we can help. For example, today we just released this map of all the aggression and kidnapping we had in the world, and we also are the first to create the kind of a user guide where you can basically see what you can do to prevent something like this, from if even if you have no money, you have a bunch of things you can do to help you and to avoid being in this having this, and even how you should react in case something like this happens. So yeah, that's a long journey from Swissborg back in the days, but hopefully it's still the beginning.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and it's a quite big account, like 183K follower. That's pretty big, and
Yeah.
a lot of news. Fortunately, not only bad news, a lot of thing about, yeah, for sure, politics. It's normal because it impacts a lot
Yeah.
the Web3 ecosystem.
Mhm.
So, what? Because the topic of today's topic is prediction markets. So what got you personally hooked on prediction market? Because we've got on the side media and the other side the prediction market, and I know you are an expert on it. So, but yeah, what hooked you inside between in prediction market, and what is the link?
Yeah, sure. That's a very good question, because it really depends of how people see prediction markets, and you have probably as many prediction markets as many use cases you could have from those prediction markets. So for us, what was very interesting is, as we were in the consumer space, we had a lot of discussion about distribution, talking with influencers, with media, and one of the things that came back, and it was
Can I stop you just for a
Yeah.
second? Because I go too straight to the point prediction market. But can you just maybe clarify what is a prediction market? Because I'm sure in the audience, not everybody is familiar with the concept. And then we jump back in our question.
Yeah, it's a very good point. So a prediction market is very very simple. That is, how can you hook so many as much people as possible to give their opinion on something, but it's not only giving their opinion, it's also putting their money on what they're saying. And so the idea is it's something very powerful that can kind of predict what could happen on some, if you have like a question. For example, a very good one is, let's say you have a cow, somewhere, and people want to find the weight of the cow. So many people will try to say, well, maybe it's 70 kilo, 80, 100, 200, whatsoever. And the thing is, if you look at that, and if you try to make as much people as possible trying to predict what's the real weight of the cow, well, the thing is, what you will see is, the more people you have, if you look at every answers and you kind of take an average of that, you will see that, well, this will go closer and closer to the real weight. And if now those people not only tell you what they think, but also put some money there, maybe they will do more research, etc., on the topic, and they will be able to even more tell the truth. And so that's what makes prediction markets very interesting, because anyone can very be an expert on a topic, or we'll see also some insiders which at some point that is to go near the what is the truth. So in this case, the weight of the cow, but it could be applied to basically anything. Whether we have some very interesting use cases, financial one, sports, could be like many sectors. But yeah, that's like basically trying to predict the future with a certain degree of certainty.
All right, perfect explanation. So let's go back on the previous question. What is the link between France Crypto and prediction market?
Yeah, so basically, like I was saying, the thing when you have a media or influencers, you have one big issue right now, which is trust. Meaning that, especially in crypto, when we have influencers, how many of them tell some stuff that was totally wrong, or they just wrecked their community. They were saying maybe, hey, I'm going full in on this thesis and buying this, but when we're saying this, we're just dumping all their tokens, for example. So the thing is, we have a trust issue when people announce something and when media announce things. And prediction markets are a very good way to have like another person that is not linked to the media to get like a source of information and a source of data that is kind of difficult to manipulate, because if you want to manipulate it, it will probably cost you money. So you can do it, of course, because nothing, isn't breakable, but it's already, it's one of the best tools to give some clear data and unbiased data, even if, you still have at some point a little bit of a bias, but that's the proper form of data that is very interesting. And media could use that to talk about new scenarios, new stuff. If you have a news that is not out, but a market has already moved, so because a market is price, so it's linked to the price of yes and no. And so the thing is, if this move, this can give you some indication on what could happen, even if there is no news linked to this topic. So if we, let's say, we come back on the Iran and US thing, before, all this started, a few hours before, people saw some movements on prediction markets, because maybe people got the information, a bit earlier than others, and so they started to put money on it, etc. And so the thing is, you can actually, with a certain degree of certainty, predict what could happen, and so media can go way faster on news. Everyone ideally could, maybe a new form of journalist would be to create, a market on a topic and bet on this and then publish it. And so new way of trust for media. That's the main thing. And making content activable and actionable. You can do stuff. You can act on the content you see. We could predict. Like,
can you maybe, just to be sure that everybody and me first get the point, like, can you explain with a clear example, a use case, like a classic one? I'm a user. I'm gonna post something on the communication prediction market, like, just to be sure to get it.
Yeah. Well, for example, let's say I'm publishing, a yearly report on the market, and as a media, I will publish also what are my views on the next year that is coming. And maybe I will predict, hey, I really believe that Bitcoin will go to 150K this year. Well, then I could create a prediction market that just say, will Bitcoin go above 150K, yes or no?
All right.
And me, what I will do is I will have a wallet as a media that is public, and this wallet will bet on the yes. Yes, Bitcoin will go higher than 150K. And here, so I'm not only, saying, whatever I want, but I'm literally betting and putting money on what I'm saying, which makes so much sense for media, and this solves the trust issues. So that's like one way.
Right.
So that's one way. The other way is you have already so many prediction markets on geopolitics, on politics, on financial stuff, etc. And if you see some weird movement on a specific market, example with the war, for example, in this case, you can say, oh, the market priced, in 1 hour, the odds of Iran getting bombed by the US just pumped. Even if you have no official news that this is happening, maybe there is something because the market moved. And this is another way to, as a media, use prediction market to talk about something that is not already, published and, public and a fact, but that is something that could happen with a certain degree. So this is very amazing and interesting for media.
Yeah, that's really, definitely. It's really amazing. And we've got two main prediction market.
Yeah.
We've got Polymarket and Kalshi, and as you said, you can bet basically on everything. Like you talk about weather. I saw some crazy news, like some people try to change the weather on relay to just increase a bit the degrees and win what they bet. Like,
it's so
funny.
That's the thing, it was the same. Someone had this, it was, I think, on a football match, and the bet was like, well, will someone go, run in the middle of everything, and will this happen? Yes or no? And the guy bet a lot of money on yes, and the guy himself went, on the football during the match and run. So of course, he got kicked out from the match. But the thing is, he won a lot of money, and that's the thing with prediction market. Everyone could be, an insider on his own market, because that's a game of information. So if you manipulate the information, in the case that was the case for the weather one, well, this could be an issue, and this is why you also have rules. But yes, some people might try at some point to do that.
People, it will, I think it will, in a way, it will push people to do some crazy stuff, like, and just regarding, you talked about politics and Bitcoin price and things like that. We are talking about prediction market, but is it an influence market, in fact? Like, everybody, we can, like, if there is a lot of people betting on something, like, it will influence it, no?
Yeah. That's a very good point. The thing is, short answer, as I think, is yes. Yes, it influenced, the market and people. And I think, back in the day, maybe you've heard about it. It's one of the first use case back in the days of Bitcoin, and also the guys, which was an oracle called, we're still live, but it's called Augur. And what they did back in the day is basically they created what was called an assassination market. So the idea back in the day was to say, well, do you think this person will die this day? And people were betting yes or no. But the thing is, if I'm betting yes, well, the more money there is, the more I am, I have an incentive to get this person killed. And so at the end, this is what happened. And so definitely, so it's like a very bad use case of prediction markets, of course, but this could happen. But you can imagine it on a way better version. Okay, I'm betting 100 euros that someone will bring me a pizza right now. Well, someone could say, okay, I'm betting, maybe against or whatever, and then people could bring into me and say, hey, look, I've bet that someone will bring it to you, and I bet I bet the opposite, and the guy, so if we did it, he won the 100 euros. And so in this case, that's a way to influence what could happen. So you could use it for like a bunch of ways.
That's sometimes, it's really scary, and it can be fun. So influence market, we can consider that like a betting a game too, but concretely, like, what problem prediction market actually solve with Paul, and you talked about media and things like that. Is there a real need, or it's only a betting game?
So I think it depends of the type of market that you have and that you're looking for. For example, and this is only about my opinion, but I think that short-term markets, like 5 minute, 15 minutes market, those kind of market where you bet, for example, on the price of Bitcoin in the next 5 minutes, this is gambling, because no one can know what will happen in 5 minutes. Maybe I have an opinion on 3 years from now, but in 5 minutes I don't know. And so this is gambling. You will have some sports is also gambling, because it's probably very difficult to know what's going to happen. However, if you look at long-term markets like economic market, finance, geopolitics, politics, all of those, whereas longer, for example, the US election from Trump and Kamala was a very, very good use case. I think we'll have the same with the upcoming midterms in the US at the end of the year. And so in this case, this solves a real use case, because it gives an alternative to the traditional pools that people are using. And this is, for example, with Trump and Kamala, all the pools, the Web2 side were like, Kamala will win, and prediction markets were like, no, it will be Trump. And so in this case, prediction markets were right.
It's more accurate. It's way more accurate, finally, than the classic media.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you look at Polymarket, we have a section like how Polymarket is accurate. It's like Polymarket accuracy. If you type maybe on your browser, you might find it. And so it basically tells you how accurate Polymarket is. And the thing is, the data is kind of crazy because it's kind of 90% of the time it's accurate. Like it's I think 1 month, and the closer you get to the right date, yeah, you see in 1 month it's 90%, and 4 hours before the resolution of the event, it's 96%.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that. Like, it's amazing. Oh my God. Like, it's the people voice. Oh my God, that's nice. And yeah, but it sounds a bit strange. Like, you are a media guy, you know what is a media, you've got crypto friends, and it's weird to see prediction market becoming a form of media as himself. Like, can we really trust it? It's always this influence thing. Like, can we really trust news or things like that?
So it's a very hard question to answer. What I believe is money is information, and that's probably the fastest way of having information. If you look at, for example, X, I have a bunch of good news on X and good news that I can trust, and we have a bunch of things that I cannot trust, and it's just fake news. And so usually what will happen is, Twitter, you have on X, you have the community notes, which, is kind of the same idea where you get the collective intelligence of everyone, on a topic, which should bring to the truth. So, we have ways to give trust to news, etc. I think that's the same with prediction markets and money in general. If I have a news, I don't know, if I even just tokenize the news or have a prediction market linked to the news, if something happened, I will directly see it on the volume and the changes, and this is the fastest way to see it. Maybe I will see it a few hours later on X because it's viral, but the thing is, I will probably see it sooner, thanks to the power of money as an information tool. So I think yes, but I would say the only thing with prediction market is you cannot trust all the market, because you have this question of liquidity and how easy it is to manipulate the market. If you have this order book and with $1,000 I can move the market, well, I cannot trust it. So
yeah, it's exactly my next question. Like, some people say prediction market are just casino, and people got a lot of biggest criticism about it. Like, as you say, whales manipulation, money is power. So basically, I've got a lot of money, I can do whatever I want about odds and things like that, and liquidity, the thin liquidity on the market, and market that reflects who's betting, not what's true, basically. So are they working on something to make it more I won't say compliant, because we're gonna talk about it after but with more trust, what should you do against that?
Yes, I've seen a few things. I think that from what I've seen, the focus is more towards how can they bring the most volume. That's why, for example, they just announced Kalshi and Polymarket that they will have perps on the platform, so which is just another way to get a lot of volume. So the thing is, I think that's more like the main topic for them right now, and the topic of the data, the accuracy of those, how can you use those, etc. Those are a bit secondary from what I've seen. But they have a few things. Polymarket is buying a lot of media, so even if they don't communicate as much from the main Polymarket account, they do a bunch of things behind that to kind of go in these directions, because the thing is still in this research phase. We don't have all the answers.
Why are they buying? Why sorry to stop you, but I'm curious why Polymarket is buying a lot of media. It sounds a bit shady, no?
No, well, two things. In this, if we just take a step back and we look in general, every company today should buy medias, and by medias is not only proper media. It could be a YouTube channel, it could be influencers account, all of those, because distribution is what matters. So for any company, I think that is targeting consumer, buying media makes sense. Even OpenAI just bought one of the biggest podcasts in SF. I think it was 100 million. I mean, a crazy number, of of money they spend on this podcast. So every company today should buy media. I mean, that's what I think. And the second element for Polymarket is, for them it makes even more sense, because of course they can distribute the product and make people trade and make volume, etc., and then get fees, but also because the data is very useful for media. And that's what I was explaining before, using prediction markets data, even if people don't talk a lot about this, because this is people prefer to see an insider that made money. This will go viral on X. If I just talk about the data and how accurate this news is and whatever, this will not work the same as an insider or someone that won a lot of monies, because this is what people want to see. But yeah, there is a lot of work to be done here on the data side, and why every media should do that. By the way, CNN, CNBC, Yahoo Finance, all of those are integrating Polymarket. Perplexity Finance also. Perplexity did this finance dashboard, which is very cool, and they directly integrate prediction markets in it, because today I really believe that you must, in your research, especially in finance, if we talk about that, you must take this into account. You must work with prediction markets.
That's really, really interesting. Thanks a lot for that. Like I discovered prediction market not a few months, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and I'm curious how do you know how it starts, but mostly how a prediction market evolve and where it goes, where like I agree with you, it's not just a trend. We are sure it's not only a product, it's something way bigger. And if we are looking forward in 3 or 5 years, what could be prediction market? It won't be not only a tool.
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think prediction market, first we need to look at what's going on today and what are the current limitations that we have. And the answer is mainly, I would say, two things. I would say liquidity, which for the biggest culture in Polymarket is not really an issue anymore. So the liquidity is also linked to the fact that, can you trust this market and the data behind it? So this is like one big question. And even today, some market have like very low liquidity and order book, and so this make some markets not really useful. So I think that's like one issue on one end, and the other one is the resolution. So the thing with prediction markets is, what you're actually betting on, or putting money on, is not really the title. It's the resolution, which is all the small lines that tell you in which case you will win or lose. And the thing is, this we saw in a lot of debates of if it's, for example, a prediction market on the price of something, this is easy. But if it's something way more subjective, that why you need some level of interpretation, and it's not yes or no, well, in this case this is way more difficult. And so that's the main issue. And so prediction markets work with what they call some oracles. You have Kleros, you have UMA, which is the one working with Polymarket. You might have some in-house centralized way of looking and verifying the information. And if something really happened, if you bet on Trump saying something, does Trump has said this thing, can we verify it? How much time do we need to verify it, etc., etc. So liquidity and resolution are the two main topics for me. If we solve those, this could open the way to permissionless prediction markets. This means that everyone could create their own markets, which is very interesting, because you could do that on anything. And as a media way, this could be crazy, because now we're limited to a bunch of prediction markets. So I really believe that prediction market will go into permissionless if we solve liquidity and resolution issues. And and I think that's one thing. If we look at the user experience, though, I think it will evolve on very niche user interface. If we look at today Polymarket, you have all the markets, on one user interface, which
Yeah.
is, you will have people that will go to Polymarket to gamble on 5-minute markets. You will have people that go there to maybe edge themselves on a crypto airdrop and bet, something else. But you will have maybe some financial people that will go there and, bet on politics, on what the Fed will do, etc. You will have people that go bet on sports, and all of those people are looking, from a different perspective, and they want different things. So you
Yeah.
cannot have one interface, especially if you go into the permissionless world. So you will have a specific interface for every, specific topic, and that's kind of what we're also doing. We're focusing on, okay, let's take only financial markets and markets that, will impact your wallet and what you own, every type of, asset class. Let's remove sports and all of those, because I just want what will impact you and make some news based on that. And so yeah, that's also kind of our bet on this. So yeah, specific user interface and permissionless market is my answer.
Yeah, thank you. That's really interesting. But you said permissionless and for everyone, not the French. I think maybe in the audience, if we want to use Polymarket, you need to use a VPN. Unfortunately, that's sad. Honestly, we are always late in France, but anyway, it's not the point. But that's a really important point. Like Kalshi is CFTC regulated. CFTC I think it's Commodity Future Trading Commission regulated. Polymarket is offshore. So
yeah,
how we can what will happen in France? In France or other not allowed country to use it, like how it will evolve?
So it's very difficult to say. Well, I would say that regulation is not really my area of expertise. However, what's interesting is, if you look at the evolution of Kalshi and Polymarket, they had a very opposite approach, meaning that Kalshi started fully regulated, then they raised the new rounds. Those new rounds of investment were led by more crypto VCs. Polymarket was kind of the opposite. Kalshi then, after being fully regulated, they tried to go on chain. So now you have tokenized version of Kalshi with DFlow on Solana. And Polymarket has done kind of the opposite. They started fully crypto, which is, Polymarket is especially known in the crypto world. For example, me, Kalshi, I'm not a US resident. I cannot use it. I cannot use Kalshi. I've tried and I didn't. I couldn't. So that's the thing. But Polymarket recently, a few months ago, bought an app in the US. So now we're starting to get regulated also in the US. The thing is, I think you have two ways of seeing this. First, you will have a big fight with all the other betting apps, the traditional betting apps, and you have a lot of lobbying, going on a lot of states in the US between, those traditional betting apps, prediction markets. Where those prediction markets fit in all of this, we don't really know yet. And then you have, Asia. Asia is a different topic. And then you have Europe, which is late and will probably copy what will be done, in the US at some point. But yeah, that's the thing. And again, it really depends of how do you use it. Because if you use it as, betting on sports, well, it should be probably regulated like, betting apps. If you use it as a data point, kind of, that's maybe a different story. So yeah, that's the big question.
Yeah, and you talked about the on-chain infrastructure. Can you clarify the role actually this infrastructure play? Like Polymarket, if I'm right, is fully on-chain.
Yeah.
Not Kalshi, and it's on which chain? Can you use it on every chain? Like everybody can use it on Polygon, Base, or whatever?
So the thing is, actually, and I think it's pretty smart from Polymarket. They were initially on Polygon. Now they're opening. There is even rumors that they will have their own chain, etc. The thing is, when you go on Polymarket, you can even deposit, with like your credit card. and then you don't really even know it's on chain. And I think it's good because people don't need to know on which chain it is, etc. This is too complicated. Kalshi, on the other end, was fully outside of crypto until they created a tokenized version of those markets. With they first did it with DeFlow and Jupiter. Jupiter then left Kalshi to work with Polymarket. But so now you still have Kalshi markets on Solana with DeFlow. But yeah, to be honest, I think that the less you talk about blockchain, on the user end perspective, the better.
All right. Now I would like to deep dive in something that I really care of. It's privacy. At IXSec, I'm the developer relation at IXSec, and we are building privacy tools for builder, enabling them to build a privacy defined RWA app with a privacy layer, etc. And right now, every bet on Polymarket is public, like your wallet, your positions, your PNL. And is that a feature or a bug? Like, should they have privacy feature?
Actually, it's a good question because, and I think it's not only a question on prediction markets. I think many people have those questions today, just in general. In crypto, and we had this huge trend, with Zcash and all of those on the privacy segment. So I think that at some point, if we want to scale, you need privacy in any type of sector, including prediction markets, because if you go there to edge on, doesn't matter the reason of why you do stuff and why you're betting or investing on or putting money on this, but maybe some people or maybe some competitors, or even if we even take a step back in terms of geopolitics in the world, you could not have one country knowing everything from the other country, every assets, etc. Maybe this could lead to some issues between countries. This is the same at any scale if you have any competitors between companies, etc. So short answer is probably privacy will come. I was in Geneva 2 days ago, and I was discussing with Costas, which is the co-founder and CTO of Sui. And the guy was really pushing also towards privacy prediction markets, where this could be private only until it's resolved, and then after the resolution, then it's becoming public. Because this way you could still see insiders, and if oh, this is a weird move, and oh, this move before the real announcement, this could have been an insider, but you don't know during when the market is live. And I thought it was a very interesting one.
I like that, because let's talk about insider. Honestly, there are a lot, but I'll be the devil advocate. Like, should we dox everybody? Like, to be sure that journalists won't bet on the event they cover, or politics won't bet about political decision. Like, how we could probably avoid insider? I think it's basically impossible. Like, everybody should be doxed, but that's not a way to solve the problem. So should we let it go and let's try to be an insider too?
The question is, do we need insiders? And I think there are like two answers to this question. You have the financial way of seeing things, where, well, indeed, it's not fair if you have leverage, if you are politically, exposed or whatever. It's not fair that you have access to information that I don't, and you make money on top of me, which, by the way, is always happening. Even today, even if it's forbidden. I think if you look at the wallet of any, I would say anyone, at some people at the government, if it's in the US, or if it's even in France, if you look at people at the CAC 40, those guys, those founders of those big companies, they probably outperform many people. And this is just because finance is just about edge of information. So you have this financial way of getting, well, is it fair, and should we regulate this the same way we do with traditional finance? Probably the answer is yes from this point of view. Then the other point of view, which is even more interesting from my point of view as a media, is insiders bring us closer to the truth. So do I want to be closer to what should really happen in the future? My answer is yes. But is it fair to everyone? The answer is no. So you have this no good answer, but that's
Yeah,
the two way of seeing it, I think.
that's true. Okay, we need insiders. So I wanna discuss about the future of prediction market, but I wanna discuss too the future of France crypto. I know you are keep building, you are working hard. I know that your teammates, and I know you are hard worker, and I'm pretty sure you've got some amazing alphas. And do you think like a prediction market, it's the death of polling institute? Like we don't need any more polling institutes if we've got an accuracy. Like that's crazy. I didn't know this. The accurate Polymarket website, like 96.7 accuracy. So yeah, it's death of polling institutes.
So it's again, it's not an easy question because at first that's what I thought. I mean, if you look at the numbers and you say, well, this is really accurate, we don't need polls anymore. That should be. I mean, that's what I thought. And then I've read about it, etc. And the thing is, I would say the consensus is more on we should still get polls, because even if polls, are less, I would say, trustworthy than prediction markets, is still an alternative. And the thing is, now that people know that we have prediction markets, I think it should increase a better result, of those polls, because now you know that if I want to cheat on a pool, well, it will be so different compared to prediction markets, so I cannot do it anymore. But however, if I do pools, and if there is something odd, happening on a market because it's manipulated or because someone put a lot of money on it, then pools are still a good alternative to that. And it brings kind of a balance. So I think both will continue for now, but probably at some point, I think indeed, pools should die. But I think for some time we will see both of those, because it brings kind of a balance and a way to verify and to see, well, this is still going it should be going quite in the same direction.
All right. And when we talk about future, we are forced to think about AI. It's not future, it's now, and AI is everywhere. So regarding the prediction markets, we can put aside that a lot. And myself, I try to build an AI bot to trade BTC stuff. And what is the role of AI? Because you are using too, I think, AI in your projects. What is the role of AI? Are we do we have still human in 2030?
Well, that's again a difficult question. But the thing is, well, first, for every company, if you don't use AI right now, you're probably late or already dead, or you will die soon. So I think that everyone has to use AI in general today. I would say that for prediction markets, this will be interesting for the resolution. How can you find what's going on and what happened much faster? I think AI will do it much better than human. So that's one thing. And so I think that's probably the main use case that I see with prediction markets, apart from of course the financial things where those AI bots could also bet, because if they're able to make a lot of research, well, you will just give them some money and they will bet and do some research and maybe help us to understand better what should happen in the upcoming weeks, months, or whatever. So I think it will just accelerate prediction markets and the result. Anyway, I think AI is just about accelerating everything from prediction research to
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. We've got 5 minutes left. I want to focus on you, Maxime, and France Crypto and your project. Like, can you tell us a bit more about what you are currently building, what we can expect in the coming weeks, months? We want an alpha, like every community. We are waiting. The audience are waiting for alpha.
I can tell you. So the thing is, what we're looking for at France Crypto is how can we make content way more activable? So the thing is, if today you see news, it's, let's say it's institutional news that has nothing to do with which asset you own, the odds are probably you don't care about this news. However, today you probably will see it anyway. So the thing is, how can we not only push interesting news to you, but also make you act on it? And so there is a very simple answer to that, which is prediction markets. And the thing that we're trying to do is basically taking a news, or what we call a pre-news, which is a weird movement in the prediction markets to tell you, hey, something might be going on, and going one step further and trying to link this with which assets you own, or at least which assets you're interested in. It could be, even stocks, because today, everything is going on chain, from stocks to oil to any type of assets. And so right now, what I want to push is, I know those assets that you own or that you have interest into, and I will give you specific news based on that, based on the assets you own, and then I will give you kind of a forecast, so a way of what should happen, what might happen, in the upcoming days and weeks that might, impact your wallet and the assets you own based on prediction markets. And this is the type of things that, I hope we'll see more and more, and that's what we're working, with France Crypto, and more generally, the product behind this is called Hyperview, because that is to give you an hyperview of, the situation. And the best hyperview we can give is based on prediction markets and based on what you especially and as a unique person are looking for, which is different than me, than someone else. And so tomorrow you might have an agent that will know your wallet, and that will just push you some news or prediction markets movement and tell you, hey, have you seen this? This might impact the oil that you have in your wallet. You have a long open on Hyperliquid. Pay attention. The Strait of the prediction markets on the Strait of Hormuz opening just moved.
Sounds really cool. But the question is when. Very
soon.
Yeah. Okay. It's very soon.
I think it's a question of weeks.
Okay, that's great. In the audience, be sure to follow France Crypto on X. Honestly, you are building something really, really amazing, and I can't wait to try it. I knew some information because I know one of your team too, Romain, if you are here, hello. But that's really, really cool. And like, we are about to wrap this session. Amazing. I honestly, we should organize another one. Like, I have so much questions about prediction market and how it will evolve. So what advice would you give to someone who wants to start using prediction market tomorrow?
I would say you need to know why you are coming to prediction market for. If it's for gambling, fair, it's for gambling, but it's for gambling. If you're there for getting information and data, well, then you know what you should look at, which is liquidity, order books, all of those. So I think the first thing is know what you're looking for, and then based on that, play with the rules you have.
Nice. Well said. Anything you want to add for the audience before we close it?
First, thanks for having me. It was very nice. Always good to talk about prediction markets, because even if you have big companies, it's still a very niche community. So I think it's good people should know more and more about what's going on, how prediction markets can really change a lot of things that we have today. And I'm really, really excited to see what will happen next on this sector.
Amazing. And we will definitely organize another session. Mark, Kilian, you missed it, but you can watch the replay. We've got more than 200 person and more on other platform. That's amazing. And yeah, I'm so curious. Thanks again, Maxime, for your time. It's amazing what you are currently building. In the audience, be sure to follow IXEG, be sure to follow France Crypto. All the best news are on X, on their accounts, and for sure, see you soon. Thanks again, Maxime, and take care.
Thanks. Bye.